He's just a straight up fucking animal. A sick, sadistic, murdering, low-life fucking slug who just uses everyone around him to get whatever he can get.
Is there a pen there?
There is not a pin here. Let me see if there's a pin up here. There's a pin up here.
Thanks. All right.
There it is. That's the grown-up one.
Damn it. Yeah, that's the cougar, the
New
Manhattan
York City,
cougar.
Yeah, the New York City whooping cougar.
The whooping cougar.
Whooping, like a whooping crane.
I don't know why, but it bothers me when some people from the South say what.
What?
Or
what?
where. You know, they pronounce the fucking H.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
They breathe the H.
Yeah, I hate it. I don't know why it makes me uncomfortable. It makes me want to punch them in the face, and I don't know why.
It's a trigger, huh?
Because who knows? Past life. That must be a past life thing.
It
or
could
something.
be, yeah. When you were with Attila the Hun, because you were fucking with Attila the Hun. I've seen you in Rage, and I'm telling you, you were definitely with fucking our Genghis Khan, one or the other, man. You pick them, but you were with one of those motherfuckers.
Don't say that. I slept until 11 o'clock today. I missed a video call with Cottingham. I mean, who cares, right?
I don't care. I don't like the guy, so I don't care at all.
Yeah, you don't like that.
I do not like it
You
at
don't
all.
like this relationship.
At all.
Yeah.
It feels really unhealthy to me, very unsafe. I don't like it.
Feels unsafe?
Yeah.
How could it be unsafe?
Because he has some influence upon you that I don't like.
Like what?
Like, you defend that fucking animal.
So I'm going to say his name. Richard Cottingham, who many people haven't heard of because he's known as a guy who murdered, I think he's got 9 convictions under his belt now, but he was only convicted of 3 in 1980. 3 at first, I think. Now he says he killed 85 to 100 people.
He's just a straight up fucking animal. A self-proclaimed
He's a psychopath.
Animal. Yeah.
He didn't choose to be a psychopath.
Bullshit.
Psychopaths are born.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. You only know what he's saying. We don't know that. I don't believe that he was born that way. I think he made himself that way. I think he did it for whatever reason. He did it the first time and fell in love with it and just continued to do it over and over and over. I don't think he was born that way.
All right, let's talk about this for a second. I don't feel like I defend him. When I complain about the shit he goes through in prison I'm talking about how fucked up it is at his facility as a human rights issue. You know, like he's a human being and things that are being done to him are fucking unspeakable. I mean, some of it's so fucking disgusting. And you can't stomach hearing about that stuff anyway.
No, that's not true. I mean, I can separate him from the abuse. So the abuse itself, no matter who it's happening to, does bother me. It pisses me the fuck off that what they do to him as a human being. Mm-hmm. But on the other side of that, from my own life training, I don't give a fuck about him as a human being because to me he's not a fucking human being, he's an animal. But as far as the abuse goes, he shouldn't be abused like that. Not because it damages him so much, but because it damages everyone around him.
And you obviously don't believe in the death penalty, right?
I can't. I mean, if there was a death penalty in New York, I would be dead. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be here today. I'd be wiped out. I would have been killed in the 80s. So, it's hard for me to say if I believe in the death penalty because you ask me that and I take my own self and I say, okay, you know what? I spent 41 years in a fucking cage and I spent that 41 years filled with anxiety, filled with hatred for society and for authority. And my life was fucking miserable. You know, I made the best of it that I could, but my life was miserable. I'd have been better off dead because I wouldn't have suffered those 41 years. If they would have killed me in 1987, there would only been 7 years of suffering and I would have been gone and it would have been over. I suffered 41 years. So it's hard for me to say, do I believe in the death penalty? Do I not believe in the death penalty? Do I support it? Do I not support it? It's hard for me to pick a side.
Wow, that is so profound. But Also, you would have been on death row, which is totally different from what you did those first 7 years. So that is a different level of torture.
No, I think death row is an easier level of torture. Because if you're on death row, you're 24/7 locked in. You're by yourself. Only other people you have to talk to are the other people on death row. I'm sure there's not much fucking judgment going on. You're all there to die for something, you know? So I'm thinking death row in the tank is, I'm sure the death house is much easier to do time in. Aside from, you know, knowing that you're going to die and the hope that you hold on to your appeals. But I'm sure that's easier to do time in there than it is in population. It has to be.
That's so complex. There are people who assume that people just sit around and play cards, like in some movies, you know, Hollywood movies where inmates are just hanging out and playing cards with each other and watching TV and shit and writing to women. But people who assume that don't know that it's just, you can never relax. You're always on high alert, and what that does to your psyche and what that does to you physically, right? Every day, like you said, you just never know if that's the day that someone's gonna shank you. And
some days you are just so afraid that you can't function normally. Some days the days go by and you don't even realize that the days have gone by because you are so afraid. You are so anxious, and usually you don't know why. It's just the environment. It's just the tension in the air. Some days you walk around in fear some days and you don't know why the fuck you're afraid. But you have to function to the outside world, the other convicts. That can't show, man. Thus the suit. So you build your suit, right? Because what you really are and what you're really feeling, that can't show. I spent 41 fucking years in that suit. I think I'd have been better off dead in 1987 when my appeals ran out.
Wow.
Look at me today. I'm a fucking mess. I mean, I can't hardly function. The people that are the most important to me in my life, the person that's the most important to me on this fucking planet, questions me. You know what I mean? What the fuck, man?
Questioned you? What do you mean?
Like, did that happen? Are you sure? Is that true?
That's what you feel bad about? Not that you hurt the people who are closest to you?
Yes, I feel terrible for that. Absolutely. I was getting to that.
Okay.
I was getting to the reason for that, right? So,
because we question each other. I guess people didn't do that to you on the inside, but...
No, and the reason for that is because I can't function on a normal level. So, of course, the people who care about me are going to question me. What the fuck was that? What was that about? Why did you say this, but you did that? But didn't you say this before and then do that? Yeah, because I can't function. So yeah. But imagine what it does to me as a human being. Imagine what that does or did to me. I think I've moved to a different level now. I don't think I'm that way now. But imagine what that did to me the first 8 months or 7 months that I was out. I had no confidence. My confidence was smashed, right? Because inside I had my suit. And my suit had the compartments built into it. If I needed something from the suit, it was in a compartment, right? I don't have any tools for out here, so I'm still building a toolbox for out here. And I'm fucked. I can't survive. I mean, I'm doing okay today, right? But survival is so fucking hard, man. Every little thing seems so fucking profound, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, and I'm sure it's me assigning more to it than necessarily needs to be assigned to it, you know? And I run away in defense a lot. I'll do something to piss off someone who loves me, or I'll do something that confuses someone who loves me. And they'll question me about it, and I'll run away in fear from it. Instead of saying, okay, wait, let me figure this out, you know? Seriously, let me see what the fuck this is. I'll go, yeah, but wait a minute. Didn't he or she do this? Didn't he or she do that? And I'll start looking for excuses or reasons to whitewash what the fuck I really did. You know what I mean? And I caught myself doing that. And now that I've caught myself doing that and had that pointed out to me, I think I'm in a place now, at a level now, where I won't do that anymore. But I didn't have that tool. I didn't have the tool to not whitewash or try to cover up my bullshit with someone else's perceived bullshit.
It was, maybe I see what you're saying. I don't know if it's whitewash, but what you do is you search for what that person did to trigger you, to justify it.
But to justify it to myself.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because you need to categorize things.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
You know what? That's the perfect analogy, that I needed to categorize things, right? But I'm in a place now. I think I don't. I don't think I need to. I don't have to have an absolute for everything, right? I'm in a place now where I can just let things happen. Life is just happening for me now.
Good.
And I feel better.
Good.
I'm not, I'm not stressed out. I'm
Yeah.
not hypertensive, looking at everything, questioning everything. But the death penalty, going back to that, and that person we're talking about, I think for that person's, and you're going to disagree with me because he's put closure to some other things, I think that person should have been put to death years ago. I don't believe he suffers because I don't think he has the capacity to suffer. He may suffer in the moment, but I think he goes to sleep every night waking up quite happy. I don't think it bothers him.
Well, he's in physical pain, severe physical pain.
That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he doesn't suffer in his psyche for things that he did. No,
So
he can't. Yeah.
I think he should have been wiped out a long fucking time ago, so that everyone around him doesn't suffer the bullshit they're suffering because of him. His fucking mouth, his complaining, and just his bullshit that comes with him, with his every fucking breath. All of that would be gone if they would have just put him to death. And all of the people that he's infecting with that bullshit would not be infected with his bullshit. So in that sense, I want to say, the death penalty. On the other hand, what fucking right do I have to wipe anyone out?
Also, we don't understand the power of closure because we haven't had lack of closure when we haven't had a child be murdered. We haven't had a sister, or brother, or mother be murdered. But you don't want him to make it right?
No. It can't be made right.
And force them in the public eye? Force what they did in the public eye?
It can't be made right by him confessing to the crime. That doesn't change anything. If he says, yeah, I did that, it doesn't change a thing.
Okay, so I'll go back. So Richard Cottingham, I reached out to him because in the same way that I reached out to you, I thought he could have committed a crime that a guy in the documentary film that I'm working on was wrongfully convicted of committing, right? It was a wrongful conviction thing. Mm-hmm. I had always written off Cottingham because he was convicted of those fucked up dismemberment shit in Times Square. And that wasn't the MO of this perpetrator, but he confessed to a few others that were different. So I wrote to him a few years ago and started talking to him for that, right? For that one crime.
Correct.
Now he says he's gonna die in the next 10 years. He didn't talk to anyone about his crimes for the first 30 years of his incarceration, right? Now he wants to come clean, and he says he killed 85 to 100 people.
Okay, can I interject something there?
Yeah.
Okay, let me interject this. First of all, if he's concerned with facing God, which he obviously isn't because he doesn't know anything about religion, and I'm sure our readers, our listeners will agree to this.
Can I interject just for 1 second, just
Yes.
on that? He's so adamant that I'm going to do the same thing when I'm in my old age. And I'm like, there's no fucking way, I'm an atheist. He's like, you don't understand. You say that now, but when you get to my point, you're going to be thinking about it.
No.
So, and that makes me kind of believe it, that he thinks he's...
Okay, well, we can say that or not. All right, but here's the deal, right? Here's the thing. If he were concerned with God at all, then he would study what God requires of him. And the only thing, per the Bible, that God requires of him is that he confess in his heart and change. And God will forgive him. Confessions made outside in public, God does not accept. That's not coming from the heart. You're confessing to man.
How would he know that?
That's my point. He doesn't doing it for God, because if he was, he'd be studying God's word to find out what God requires.
I don't know if I believe that either. I mean, maybe he's attracted to Buddhism, or maybe he's you're suggesting that because
I'm suggesting that
that's the religion that you.
I'm
maybe
suggesting
he's a
that
Muslim, or maybe
if he's saying that he's doing it to get closer to God, I'm suggesting that it's coming from a Christian background because the Buddhists don't get close to God. So, not in the sense that he's saying. So he's not Buddhist.
I don't think that
he's coming from a Christian background.
I don't think that he's. Yeah, I think he's like me, who's never read the Bible or anything, and I think that. If Milo were on his fucking deathbed in a hospital right now, I would fucking go, God, if there is a God, if there's a higher being, it doesn't fucking matter what, I would maybe pray. I don't know. In that moment, and
I would help you.
I do everything I could possibly do, and that would be one of them. And that's, I don't buy what you're saying at all, because that's one person's interpretation of God. That many people just believe that if there's a higher being, I should try to do good in my last 10 years to, even if I just believe in reincarnation and not heaven, then I should try to do good in my last 10 years of life to try to be reincarnated in a more positive being, or a more successful being.
Well, see,
or whatever.
Like we're having this conversation, and I keep saying him, and you just keep saying people. I'd like you to keep it.
He's not a religious person. He's just a regular person.
Which is why I would like you to keep it on him. So don't assign things to him that other people may have. You may, for instance, feel a certain way. I may feel a certain way. But let's try to assign to him who he's proclaimed to be, who he's showing the world who he is. A sick, sadistic, murdering, low-life fucking slug who just uses everyone around him to get whatever he can get. He's using these confessions to get whatever he can get. He's not using them for any purpose for God.
That's the thing. I cannot disagree with that. So that's what I was going to say. So he says he killed 85 to 100 people.
Right.
And he said he never talked about it before because he had children. His one rule is that if anything gets leaked to the press, everything's over. He's never talking again. So when he made those confessions 10 years ago, it ended up everywhere. So then he didn't talk for 10 more years. Now he wants to talk again. He's trying to make confessions to these DA's offices. The first time I met with him, okay, I just wanted to feel him out because, I went to him and said, okay, if you killed 85 to 100 people, there are not that many cold cases in this area you're talking about, like in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Obviously, other people are doing your time because back then, 70s and 80s, and still, they just convict whoever they want to convict. Boom, boom, boom. Wipe their hands. They're done with it. They move on to the next one, right?
Yeah, next case.
And so he's like, oh, I never thought about that. But that's funny because I've made confessions to, some cop in Bergen County, New Jersey, some cop in Rockland County, New York, Nassau County, New York, where the cops looked into it, came back and said, that's not a cold case. We don't want to talk about that one.
Right.
Give us something else.
Somebody else doing your time.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Not at all.
So that fueled my flames. The fucking cops know that someone else is doing his fucking time and they aren't pursuing it. Instead, they want that fucking notch on their belt. Look, we solved this fucking cold case from 50 years ago. I'm in the news and I get an award like they just did in Rockland County. It's like, it infuriated me. So you don't understand. So I built this relationship with him and I do, I guess, defend him because he is a human being.
Yeah.
I
believe he's super manipulative. He's been doing it his whole life. He's
yeah.
got it. He's got
a
all
master.
the rules. He's a master manipulator.
Yeah. So what?
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is...
No, it doesn't fucking matter because if people are doing his time, I'm not... So he's got that friend Jen, whose mother he killed, who's working on clearing these cold cases for people like her because her mother was killed and they didn't know and he confessed to her and blah, blah, blah. So they struck up a friendship. Now she's helping him do that with other families. My concern is wrongful convictions, like who's serving his time.
Well,
if there's a tiniest one person that we can help who's been in prison for 42 years, what?
You're just ranting. Listen.
I think it's
a very important situation. It's a very important cause. And you're passionate about it, and you should be passionate about it. But rather than just being passionate about it and what if, how about a fucking plan? How about we compile a list of everyone in this area in the past 15 years or 20 years that have said they are innocent of this murder, of this kind of murder, and give him the fucking list and say, listen, you fucking animal, which ones of these are your crimes?
I'm sure you know that I did that very thing
happened?
Before I first met him.
I know you did, and
I went to the Innocence Project. I looked up every fucking case.
And what happened? What did he do?
We're working on it.
Exactly. He didn't do shit. He didn't check the boxes. He could do that in 5 minutes. This one, this one, this one. These are all my crimes. Get these guys out. What do I need to do? It's not for God. It's for publicity.
I don't understand what you're doing right now, but he doesn't want publicity. I cannot take this to the press or he will not talk to me, okay? Last week, he confessed publicly to 2 cases in New York that were on my list. Not because of me. Other people had approached him with those same names.
I know. You're just ranting.
What I did was gave him a list with a mixture of the cold cases that everyone's screaming about, like, did he do this one? Then this one was never solved, right? And then also people who claim that they were wrongfully convicted. He doesn't fucking know. He hasn't been online. He doesn't know that someone else is serving time for these other cases too. So I interspersed them on this list.
That was the absolute wrong approach.
Why?
Because if he wants to make it right, and you say to him, this poor motherfucker is doing your time, man. This innocent man is doing your time. If you did these cases, any of these, did you do any of these? That's what it should have been. It shouldn't have been mixed in.
I know him well enough to know that he doesn't give a shit about that at all.
Or anything else. That's my point. That's the only point I wanted to get to. So as far as I'm concerned, I made my point. That's the only point I wanted to get to.
That's no point. You don't understand the psychology of this. He wants to help me. He likes the attention that he's getting from somebody. Someone fucking visits him.
I said that from the start.
Right, great. What? So you hate me going to New Jersey because I abandoned you for 2 days to go to South fucking Jersey to visit him, but that's no skin off my back. I can go there once a week or twice a month to visit this guy and have a conversation with him. No, he doesn't care about these fucking guys. He doesn't have empathy. He's a psychopath.
I don't know that. See,
So
I'm not buying that he's a psychopath.
Let me just finish. He actually doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. Only a psychopath or sociopath can fucking torture someone and dismember someone and blah, blah, he had no feeling.
Okay, so stop right there. Because we just ran a circle, P. And
I haven't even made my point because
your point's moot because we started off with the guy's a fucking animal. And he has no human feelings. I feel bad that human beings are treated the way he's treating it and he shouldn't be treated that way, which is how we started. However, this motherfucker does not deserve the sympathy because he has none. And that's how we started this conversation. Now we're back to that. And that's the point made.
I don't know. I'm not begging for your sympathy for him. I've never
I know that.
asked
I'm
for
not
that.
saying you are.
All I'm saying, I'm explaining my relationship, which you just roll your eyes at every time. You don't understand what I mean, you do understand what I care about, so it surprises me that you have a problem with it. And
I don't have a problem with it, not it. I think what you're doing is noble. I think it needs to be done, and I love that you do it. I respect you big time for what you do. So it's not that I have a problem with it. I have a problem with him.
He's not going to be alive much longer, so this is all going to end soon, and then we don't have to argue about it. But
well, yeah, but I mean, I like the debate. I mean, because it's philosophical. It's even though it's about the person, we can dismiss the person. It's philosophical. I like the debate. I'm not mad that we have the debate at all. I enjoy it.
In the meantime, the last 2 phone calls I had with him, all we talked about was the time he did in New York and the fucking prison. So for this podcast, we're gonna have to do a Richard Cottingham episode because you don't like that one bit either.
Guy's not welcome in my mind at all.
Oh, okay.
He's not.
All right. Well, boss, let's do a status update.
Okay.
You might get an apartment.
Yeah, but let's talk about the other thing that's big in my life before we talk about the apartment.
Okay.
The demon killer.
Oh yeah.
Forgot all about the demon killer.
No, I've been meaning to talk about this because it's sort of this is not a bad thing. It can be a bad thing for many people. It also is a bad thing for you when you're angry, but this impulsivity, right?
Yeah. I have it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So can I tell my version of the story?
Yeah. If I'm pissed off, it's got to be shiny. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's not a pissed off story. It's a no. It's not a self-medication through retail therapy thing at all.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I didn't see it like that.
All right, let's hear it. I'm interested.
I don't know what was happening that day. I thought you were going to take your car in to get, I don't know, an oil change or something. I don't remember what it was. But Milo and I had gone away. No, we were, we were at the dentist. Yeah, we were at the dentist.
You want me to refresh your memory?
You picked us up from the dentist.
You want me to refresh your memory what happened that day? Why I took the car in? I took it?
Tell me, yeah.
Because remember, I was trying to sell it. And I needed to know what it was worth, so I took it in like I was going to trade it to see what it was worth.
Because you had such a bad deal because you're a first-time buyer.
Right,
you
I had
really bad
horrible
interest.
deal.
Yeah,
terrible deal.
High interest, new driver, high insurance rate, everything. So you were like, this is such a burden, and you picked up Milo and I from the dentist's office in Brooklyn. And I didn't see your car, but you came at us, and I was like, where's the car? Oh, I guess we'll take a cab or whatever. And then you said, let me see your keychain, because I had your Subaru key on my keychain, right?
Yes.
And then you just took it and you turned your back to us for a second, and you turned it back toward me, and there's a big fucking brand new Mercedes key fob hanging on my big, beautiful, shiny, brand new thing hanging on my keychain. And I was like, what have you done? What the hell? And then you just sort of open your arms like Vanna White, like here's, and there's your fucking beautiful, brand new Mercedes. So
yes, demon killer.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
So how did it happen exactly?
So I took the car, I took the Subaru in because the Subaru was giving me problems. I had that right front strut that was banging and popping and banging and popping. And so I crawled under it and looked at it. And I had let it go so far that it had pushed the seal, the right front seal for the transaxle, up into the transaxle, so it was cracking the transaxle. So I'm going, fuck, this is going to be a big problem. So I took some of that goop that I gave to Milo.
That liquid iron thing?
JB Weld. So I cleaned it off with some brake cleaner, put some JB Weld on it to stop it leaking, topped the fluid off, drove it to the dealer and say, what's this thing worth on a trade? Because I was trying to sell it. Remember, I had for sale signs in it. At that point, I knew I was in trouble because that was going to be a $2,000 fix because I couldn't do it myself. I had no place to do it. I was going to have it done. I was like, wow, the car is not worth it to me to do that. Another $2,000. I just want to get out from under this fucking thing. And sitting just a few feet away from the Subaru was this almost brand new, straight off the lease from the dealer, Mercedes-Benz CLA 250, loaded, white with, what color is that interior? It's like a cream, white with cream interior and walnut wood. Car's gorgeous. So I says to the guy, what's this thing worth? What can I get on a trade, sign and drive today? He said, let's crunch some numbers. Started crunching some numbers, offered me $10,500 for the Subaru. I owed $14,000 on it, but it needed $2,000 worth of work. So we crunched some more numbers. I changed my insurance, got a different bank, gave him the Subaru, gave him the keys, signed the paper, drove it off. So my payments only went up $100, but I got a brand new Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Demon killer, I call it.
And you're having fun with that car.
I love that car. Oh my God, it's so fast. That car is so badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that car. So I call it demon killer because when I have the demons raging, I start feeling bad. I just jump in the fucking car, kick the radio on, and take a drive, man.
Yeah.
Just go for a ride. The car's just so connected with you. You're just connected in that car, So fun.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
And now you might get an apartment of your own.
Yeah, so I finally got approval to get an apartment of my own. I just got to find one that I can get into, And there's stuff in the works for that too. So hopefully in the next week or so. I got to get out of where I'm at by October. So no matter what, either that or I'm sleeping in Demon Killer. So I got to do something.
Why is that?
They're closing it.
Closing
the
hotel?
The contract. Yeah, they lost the contract. The mayor closed it. So that's it. No more. Understandably, no more,
So they're closing the hotels that were opened to be
shelters.
Not
all of them. Just select ones that have been a problem.
Oh, it's not because to open it up for tourism again. It's because yours has been a problem, right?
Yeah. I mean, the place is trashed. If they're going to open it for tourism, they're going to have to completely remodel it. And it's in a neighborhood that it's not worth remodeling. It's in an industrial park, So, I mean, it's close to the train, I guess, but I don't see how it's like a macro hotel, right? I don't know how. I don't know how it ever survived to start with, which is probably why it was turned into what it is, right? And there's 3 of them right in that area. They're within a rock throwing distance of each other, and he only closed that one, You know, the other two are women's facilities. Maybe he didn't close those because where do you put the women? But they're worse than the men with all the drugs and, you know, the pissing on the sidewalks and
What?
oh, it's terrible.
Really?
They're mentally ill. You know, they're homeless and mentally ill, and they just move them into these hotels, feed them 3 meals a day, give them a place to sleep, and that's it. That's all they give them, right? So, of course, they're still mentally ill.
Yeah.
Putting a roof over their head doesn't stop the fact that they're mentally ill. They don't even know that there's a roof over their head, or they don't have the concept. Who gives a shit? Like, I came in this morning from work. I came in at about 9 o'clock. It's raining. There's a guy and a girl sleeping on the front steps. Obviously a couple, coupled up, sleeping on the front steps, and it's fucking raining. They're homeless. Sleeping on the front steps with cardboard. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I don't know, it bothers me.
It happened more times than not that I went to your hotel and there was an ambulance outside, or a bunch of ambulances outside, and people got stabbed there. Someone got stabbed once, right?
Yeah,
Once or twice.
Yeah. Robberies, stabbings, there's been break-ins into rooms. There's a drug overdose every week at least, sometimes two, It's really bad. But the people they have running it is the problem. It's not the fact that the people that are living there, we know the people living there have issues. You know that when they're coming in there. So if you haven't done something to address the issues that you know are coming, you're the failure. I mean, really, you know what's coming. If you don't, you're stupid. I fucking spent 41 years in a cage and I can see what's coming.
Yeah.
So if you can't see it, you don't want to see it. So the mayor's going to close the hotel that's full of homeless people, but there's no place for homeless people. So where do these people go? Back on the street, right? They didn't get anything except 3 meals, medical attention, whereas, if they had a cold, they got an aspirin. If they had cold medicine, or, if they had something like that, a rash, they had that medical care, right? Which was cool, but that's all they got. They're not stable. They're not ready to be on their own. They shouldn't be in the hotel on their own. Yeah. They're not capable. So they're in the hotel. They go out, sign the book. They went out. Step out in front of the hotel, get high, hang around, drink beer, break bottles on the ground, fuck with people's cars, fight, do dumb shit, fuck in the corner, come back in the hotel, go to their room, go to sleep, do the same thing tomorrow. Hotel staff signs them in, signs them out. Watching them do it, signs them in, signs them out. Why would you do that? Why is that allowed? I know that there's a program someplace on paper of what this place is supposed to be, and I guarantee you they didn't give you the grant to run this program like that.
Yeah.
And that's why he's closing it.
Yeah. So the reason you haven't been able to get an apartment before is because you have no credit history. No one will rent to you in New York City, and it's really cutthroat here. So what's happening now? How can you? Someone's helping you?
Yeah. So what happened now is because they're closing the program, this other program stepped in, and all they do is housing. All they do is get people off the streets. They have buildings. They have their own apartments. They have these nice apartments, and that's what they do. Is if you don't have credit but you have a job, if you have this, you have that, they will get you into one of their apartments. So they came to the hotel and asked for a list of guys who the hotel staff thought would be able to make it on their own in apartments. And my name was first on the list, so I was number one. So they come and interviewed me, took down all my information, and told me, absolutely, we'll get you in an apartment. You're exactly what we're looking for. So I'm just waiting for the email to go show up for the interview. The city stepped up, gave me a voucher. Yeah.
And the voucher is the guarantee that they're going to pay 2/3 of your rent?
Yeah, I only have to pay 30%. They gave me $2,200 for the month.
Okay.
So my rent can be as much as $2,200. I have to pay 30%.
Yeah.
They're going to pay all my utilities, my rent, the move in, the deposit. They pay everything.
That's great.
Right.
That is a fucking problem. Besides all the reentry issues you have emotionally, physically, not you personally, but parolees when they come out after a certain amount of time, no one will fucking rent to you if you don't have a rental history, and you don't have a job. Even if you have money, if you come out with family money, no one's gonna fucking rent to you.
So here's the thing. I go look at this apartment in Astoria. It's $1,700 a month, 1-bedroom apartment, ground floor, has its own driveway and garage attached to it. Bingo. Demon killer's going right in the door, right?
Yeah.
So I go look at this place. It's exactly what I want. Mm-hmm. I'm like the second, third person to look at it. Having that conversation with the guy. Now they're all happy. I pull up in this brand new Mercedes. They're all like, oh, good. This is nice. He's got a job. He's got a Mercedes. I'm all good to go. It looks like I'm going to get the apartment. Right up until the moment when I say, I have a voucher. As soon as I say I have a voucher, the whole face changes. Everything changes. The realtor, the woman, says to me, "You have this job and you have this brand new car. Why do you have a voucher?" And I said, "Well, I recently fell on hard times. I had some problems, and I'm back on my feet. So I was able to finance a car, and so I'm ready to move forward and get back on track. You know," I said, I'm stable, and I have this voucher. The rent's guaranteed. "Okay, well, we have to show it to a couple of other people. We'll give you a call." Before that, there was nobody else looking at it. They never mentioned, you know, but as soon as it came up to a voucher, well, we have to show it to a couple other people. If nothing happens, we'll give you a call. So they dismissed me right there. So I wasn't getting the apartment.
Oh, fuck. All right, let's do a sign off.
Okay, thank you for stopping by.
We can't go without your porcupine joke.
That porcupine joke that Mike told my brother-in-law. So I told my brother-in-law that I got a new Mercedes, and he asked me if I knew the difference between a Mercedes and a porcupine.
What?
The difference is that on a porcupine, the pricks are on the outside.
That's so good. I love Mike. I love that.
He called me
Oh
a
my
prick.
God, what a buzzkill.
Yeah,
For
it's a
your
buzzkill,
brand new
yeah.
buzz.
Fancy.
Okay, so
According to Wikipedia, Landon
Damn
Anthony
you.
Banana is an
Hey,
American
Google.
professional mixed martial
stop.
What's wrong with your friend, man? Why is he always cutting in?
So
How come my Google is a female and yours is a dude?
that's because, you know.
Because you're a female.
Good question.
Yeah, it should be my voice on there.
Oh my God.
Right. Win the boss's voice. We can do that. We can do that.
Oh, what a nightmare.
You could win the
Tense.
boss's voice on your answering machine.
Hi, thank you for calling Jennifer. This is the boss.
Yeah, this is the boss.
Leave a message.
Don't be playing with my Jennifer. Thank you for calling.
And buy the new ass pounder.
The new ass pounder by K-Tel, $29.95. I'm buying that shit.